Hey, welcome in, everybody.
No,
this
Ian.
Is another, Ian's not here yet, another edition of the SCB Steelers Podcast.
Another edition.
By DEK Roofing Incorporated of South Florida. And we're jumping at you a little earlier this week, a Tuesday night. And wanted to make sure we got a chance to get in our thoughts on the Steelers' big 20-10 win over the New Orleans Saints. Boy, are the Saints bad. Holy shit, are they bad.
Well, it's Andy Dalton. The Saints are not bad. I'm telling you, man, they're not.
Well,
they wanted
fair enough.
It's Andy fucking Dalton. Andy Dalton now owns a 3-14 career record versus the Steelers. The Saints actually have a pretty good defense. I didn't think they play particularly well versus the run, obviously, but some of that did have to do with the fact that James Daniel and Chooks run block pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, look, Najee was a yard short of 100. Kenny
almost
Pickett,
5 yards to carry, though.
Yeah, that's the number. That's the number. Yep. I don't care about the total either. I care much more about the average. And he was solid. And Jaylen Warren, I think was better as a receiver this week. 3 catches, 40 yards. I mean, he made a spectacular play down the sideline to essentially seal it there. And there was nice contributions from everybody. And look, I'm not going to sit here and try to paint this as it was an offensive explosion or anything remotely close to that. But it was nice to see some things work, and it was nice to see the team win, which is what we expected coming out of the bye. Tomlin's record's very, very good coming out of that now. So I think he's now 12-4, I think, all time coming out of the bye. So, that's good. But let me welcome in Ben. Let me welcome in Scarps. I'm sure Ian will be along as soon as all 12 of the kids are put to sleep or something to that effect. Scarps, how are you? What'd you think of the game on Sunday?
Pretty good. I thought it was okay. By no means, do I think it was glamorous or pretty, but it was necessary. Felt good to get a win. I'm sure the team and coaches and organization felt that way too. I was didn't play, but I was there for that 0-4, 2-6 start in 2013, and I tell you, it was pretty miserable. Obviously everybody was professional, but during those moments, you maybe didn't, crack a joke. You just put your head down and did your job. So I'm sure they're happy. And, if they're, good for Najee Harris, that guy needed that type of performance.
For sure.
It's good to see TJ Watt back. I don't necessarily think that, he was playing, and I'm sure if you asked him, I don't think he would say that he was playing up to his potential. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there was a little bit of nerves there, but I thought that just him being there was a big deal. I thought it helped others.
No question.
It was good to see the defense hold on to interceptions. Actually, not only hold on to some interceptions, but knock some balls out that were 50-50 balls against some pretty good receivers.
Yeah.
Again, the kicking game was shit, and I said that
we'll touch on that.
I said that last week, but overall, it take nothing away from the Steelers, but man, the Saints looked like they wanted nothing to do with that game. They had to go to Baltimore on a Monday night, then they go back home, then had to come to Acrisure. Andy Dalton did look bad, but their defense looked a little bit tired. Couldn't do anything in the run defense. But hey, I think we all picked the Steelers to score 20 points. So
I had them losing 19-13. I think you and Ben and Ian were all right around 20.
I said they'd lose, but I said they'd score 20, and they did. So.
Right, and that sure seems to be the number. Ryan, that's a pretty good synopsis of things. Ben, your overall thoughts before we get into some specifics here.
Obviously ran the ball much better. A couple hundred yards of rushing. That helps your passing game quite a bit. I think that the Saints did struggle versus the run. And it was just like it was long gains that, I mean, for the most part they did okay, but they got a little leaky, and they had that long run by Najee, a couple long runs by Pickett. And it was just like, well, I guess we're going to figure this out. So they kind of started stepping back a little bit. It gave them a little more time. I didn't think that Dan Moore was awful again. Kevin Dotson apparently is nursing a hip. I don't think he played very well either. He has
a couple injuries like in that area.
Yeah. He's got a hip, a rib,
the abductor, one of the adductors.
He didn't play very well versus the pass. He played okay in the run game, but not great. Mason Cole, again, I owe this guy an apology. I watched his film when they signed him. I was like, what the fuck? What are you doing? He's played much better than I expected. I would not say that he's good, but he's competent, which is,
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Everything that Green was not last year at all. Kendrick Green was absolutely horrid, which is why he hasn't gotten a helmet all year.
Yeah. Cole, I think Cole's might be playing the best out of any lineman right now. I'm
going to go with Daniels.
Daniels actually. Yeah.
Daniels pass blocks a lot like Jaylen Warren.
He's violent.
He bodies guys. I'm like, Jesus, man.
Yeah, he does not miss a shot.
It took a little while to get up to speed, I think, with Pittsburgh and with, probably with what Pat Meyer wanted him to do.
Right.
And with the offense and everything else. But as he's gotten into it now, he's playing really well. That's definitely our best offensive lineman, and probably our only legitimately good offensive lineman is Daniels.
Sorry,
but Chooks is playing okay. He played a really bad game versus the Eagles. Much better versus New Orleans. Tight ends played pretty well. Connor Hayward even played pretty well. Jaylen Warren, you talked about that. Defense, DeMonte Kazee. What can you say about that guy? He played every snap, contributed consistently. Yeah, he had one bad penalty that to me was, I'm sorry, Steelers Nation, that was not a shot shoulder to shoulder. No, he hit him in the head. He hit him in the head, and he left his feet.
Yep. You're a hater.
Yeah, I'm a hater. Sure.
Yeah.
He left
it
his
was literally
feet.
Rule by rule. It was textbook. Like, listen, I hate officiating. I think they suck. But in a bang situation, they got that 1,000%.
1,000% right. Yeah, they did.
They did.
You didn't even.
No, I wasn't even close. I when I watched it happen, I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna get called.
Yeah,
and it did. And then they scored a touchdown, so that cost us a little bit. But Scarps pointed out the DBs played better. Pulls the balls out, some 50-50 situations, caught some interceptions. Tracked the ball, brought it in. Much better, much better. Robert Spillane, still very bad in coverage, but played a nice game considering the fact that they wanted to sit Miles Jack. They dressed him, but they wanted to sit him because he's got some issues with his knee, and things were going well enough that they didn't put him in.
Right.
So,
yeah, they primarily stuck with Spillane and Bush, and occasionally you'd see Terrell Edmonds down in the box a little bit.
TJ Watt, 4 tackles, 4 tackles and a quarterback hit.
Right.
It's not really a TJ Watt type of night.
Nope.
But he made some plays. He did. He made some plays that other guys wouldn't have made. It definitely was an improvement, and I agree with Scarps. Him just being out there helped some other guys play. It gave Cam some room. It gave Larry Ogunjobi some room to do some things up front.
No doubt about it.
That they weren't able to do earlier this year with TJ being out. So,
I think his presence was huge. I think the Saints weren't any more or less caught off guard that, hey, he's playing. Is he going to be TJ Watt that we expect? Probably not, but they weren't going to take a risk with it. They chipped, they doubled.
Well, yeah, if you just leave that guy one-on-one all night, he's going to eat you alive.
Absolutely. Yep. And credit Highsmith, took advantage of it. His opportunities and a couple sacks, forced fumble. And man, that is so weird. You ever see a play like that in the backfield where a guy strips the quarterback and the ball just kind of sits there and nobody jumps on it for a brief moment?
Was a little weird.
It was strange.
It was like nobody knew where it went.
Right.
They were like, "Oh,
yeah, there it is." Yeah, it was odd, but I look, you can't overstate the play of the secondary, because not only did they have the interceptions, but you guys mentioned that they also got hands in balls. Arthur Millette had a really nice breakup.
Yep.
Wallace had a couple.
Put your hand between the ball and the player and rip.
Absolutely. And we'd like to welcome in the fourth member of our team. He is Ian, and he is he's here.
I have arrived.
The big question is, what's everybody drinking tonight? Ben Anderson, what are you drinking this evening?
Jubal Ale,
very good. Ryan Scarpino.
Vodka.
Is it the convenience store vodka, or did we step it up this week?
No, we got the Crown Roos. Come
okay,
on, man.
We got some convenience store. Yeah, very good. And,
like $5 for the handle, or
he's like $5 Chuck vodka.
Seriously, it's $9.99.
Yeah, you can get two for like $19.81.
Ooh, this guy's a bargain hunter.
1998.
Ian, what are you drinking tonight?
Whatever.
I am finishing off my
Don't you have taxes there?
redemption bourbon, because this was the Matt Canada redemption game. Even though it was not perfect, it was probably the best one he's had yet. So
it was better. He still sucks.
And I'm still working on my Jameson IPA edition. Okay, Ian, since you threw it out there, I'll give it to you. Was that Matt Canada's best game? And if so, why?
Yes, it was his best game. There were,
you know what it reminds me of?
All right,
there was an episode of Married with Children where Al Bundy looks at a really ugly woman and says, "You look less ugly than usual today."
Okay.
It was that.
Okay. There's still problems abounding, right? There's still problems with the blocking up front. Kevin Dotson can't handle a stunt to save his life. There was, the running game ran for 200 plus yards, which always helps, Pickett's still staring down his first read. If it's not there, he gets happy feet. He took some sacks that were not the offensive line's fault. He took some sacks that were the offensive line's fault. Pickett, made some bad throws. He made some bad decisions. His accuracy was bad in certain instances, but he also made some good throws and some good decisions. So it was a mixed bag, kind of what you would expect with a rookie quarterback. But, when I went back and watched the game, the play calling in and of itself. So what Matt Canada can control, there was some bad stuff. Yes. There was some dumb stuff. Yep. Yes. Like not running the ball in the red zone when you've been carving them up and you're first and goal from the 10 and you don't run ball. Okay. But nevertheless, like some of the plays that didn't work were good plays and were well-designed plays, and guys were open, and either someone missed a block or, Pickett made the wrong read, or if Pickett made a good read and threw a bad pass behind a receiver, there was some go routes that were available going down the sidelines, and Pickett threw the ball 3 yards out of bounds. So the one to Deontay, he actually threw 3 yards inbounds. It was like, whoa, they hooked up for one because he didn't throw it out of bounds. But yeah, I think on the whole, the play calling was not terrible. There was a lot of things that happened in that game on the execution side that were choppy. Yeah. There were some play calls that were dumb.
No doubt about it.
When you're carving them up on the ground, all of a sudden going with a jet sweep to Steven Sims that loses you a yard at the front of the field goal range.
What the fuck was that?
There was some bad play calling decisions. Don't get me wrong, but on the whole, there was a lot less instances in this game that I could point to and be like, what the fuck was he thinking? That was a dumb as shit play call.
I agree.
It was more on the execution side when things broke down, and they had a lot of success. And that's what a good running game can do for you, is it opens up a lot of other things and options, and you can do stuff off of it. Yeah, that I think Najee was his most patient that he's been all season, that he wasn't trying to hit the home run every time. He was taking what was there, but then because the Saints run defense is worse than ours, there was holes there that turned into 30-yard runs.
Yeah.
So, that patience pays off, that you don't have to hit the home run every time. It's, take what's there, and eventually what's there will pop for you.
Yeah. And I agree with you. Very much more patient. Just what wasn't nearly as dancy.
I forgot about Deontay running himself out of a first down when he had the first down and ran backwards. But
dude, what the hell was that?
It's not the first time he's done that. No. It's just the most blatant.
Yeah, but that's another thing. Like, you can't blame Matt Canada for that, right?
No.
The play call was good. It got Deontay the ball at the sticks. Deontay just tried to do too much rather than taking what was there and falling forward for 2 more yards.
His fucking job.
Yes.
Ryan Scarpino, you've been largely the biggest critic of Kenneth Pickett.
Yeah, because you're mean.
Amongst us.
You're such a hater.
I think
on this show?
I think
you're
you
such
have.
a hater. You're mean.
On this show or in general?
Oh, no, just on this show.
Just on this show.
No. So I'm going to ask you this. Is the current way that he's being coached, is it holding him back?
Oh, man. What a question.
No. I mean,
we don't fucking know how he's being coached.
Yeah,
we can speculate, but
I
don't.
Allow me to clarify.
Yeah, let's. Yeah, I can't. I don't.
There is no question that the common theme that you hear from Mike Tomlin, Matt Canada, and you even hear it from Kenny Pickett himself: ball security, take care of the ball, make good decisions, all the things that you would want a rookie quarterback to do. But this is a kid. This is a kid that at Pitt was aggressive, was fearless, and all that seems to me
he was
to
playing
be gone.
in the ACC.
I know different levels of competition. It's a whole different world. I get it.
So,
but that said, is he so worried about making a mistake that it's completely affected the way he plays the position?
So here's the problem, and it's not. I don't have, like I said, I've said this many times on the show. I don't have a problem with Kenny Pickett. I didn't want a quarterback in the first round, just like I didn't want a running back in the first round the year prior. But with Pickett, it comes this admiration for the guy because he played at Pitt, and there is he has so many fans just on the fact that he played at Pitt, but he hasn't done a damn thing in this league, and. I think the thing that irritates me the most is the people that go out of their way to defend him. I have never in my life seen Steelers fans, maybe it's just Pickett fans, or is it Pitt Steelers Pickett fans, that go out, that are so excited to say, hey, he didn't turn the ball over. We also didn't fucking throw a touchdown. Like, at what point, does this dude actually let it fucking rip? Because you're right. He was aggressive at Pitt. However, he has small hands and it's a different size ball in the NFL. No,
it isn't just that, dude. It's ACC athletes.
Exactly. It's totally different. No disrespect, but you're gonna tear up your Western Michigan or even
I believe Western Michigan defeated Pitt last year.
He threw for 5 touchdowns.
Roll the ball.
Their defense sucks. But the point is you're right. But Ben, you're right. Competition is everything, and people people don't understand the fucking
teeny tiny windows you have in the NFL,
and the difference between pro and college is astronomical.
Yes,
agreed.
How many great college players didn't do shit in the NFL? It's like the speed is so much different. And a perfect example is a couple weeks ago, Javon Holland from the Dolphins. Javon Holland from the Dolphins read that shit all the way when he threw that pick.
Yes.
Like Javon Holland was like, this dude is really going to throw this right now. Like you got away with that in the ACC, but you're not getting away with it now. So to answer your question, I don't know how he's being coached, but to me, he looks a little timid. He looks a little shy. He looks like he's afraid to make a mistake. And I don't know if that's him or Tomlin or Canada, but all I know is there are fucking dudes open and he either doesn't see him or he's not allowed to throw to him. And I'm going to start to say that he's not seeing the field. That's what I think.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying. And I'm going to go a little bit against it in so much as I'm going to expand upon it, I guess. I agree with you. He has poor pocket presence. He's not reading the defenses very well. I don't understand the way he goes through his progressions. He's missing guys that are fucking open. It's frustrating to watch. Mm-hmm. By the same token, this is a rookie quarterback who's played in 6 games, started 5. So far, he's thrown for 2 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. He should be coached not to turn the fucking ball over. Okay? He should. That should be a point of emphasis. It should be. Don't fucking throw a pick. Don't fucking do it. You're averaging over a pick a game right now. Don't fucking throw picks. So if that is a point of emphasis for him every day in practice, it should be. All right? If as a result, he is holding on to the ball longer, which, again, going back to the pocket presence, there were, I'm not going to say several, there were a handful of instances this week where I thought he could have stepped up into the pocket and thrown the ball.
Yes.
Rather than trying to go out and running into a pass rusher. They gave you a fucking pocket. Stay in it.
That is what he did at Pitt, and he got away with it.
In it.
He got away with it.
Good athletes that play on the edge in the NFL. They will take your ass down. But there were also a couple of instances where he could have stepped up, and it looked to me like the receivers quit on the play. They just fucking stopped. They were like, busted play. I guess we're screwed. So which basically tells me, because last year they would have kept running. It would have been a scramble drill, right? Right. They would have tried to get open. Ben would have found them. Boom, right? Because that's what Ben did his whole goddamn career. This year, they don't believe in what they're being asked to do. They apparently don't trust their quarterback, and he doesn't trust them, which is something that's earned over time. I get it. But it's everybody. And it's really difficult to evaluate his performance because he's playing in a shitty offense. With a line that's not playing great. I'm sorry, they're not playing great. And on top of that, he's got some bad tendencies too. And he's getting shitty, just awful fucking play calls, awful play design.
Yeah. He started 5 games, but only played a half in one of them, and then he didn't start in the Jets game.
So let's say he's played 5 games, really, right?
No, he's played 6 games.
Yeah. Well, no. Let's just say total games. He's played in 20 quarters. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think another point too to be made is, he hasn't. This was other than the Tampa Bay game, which was kind of close the whole game. This was the first time that he really got to kind of play with a lead for most of the game.
Yeah. And with an effective run game. Yeah,
he came into the Jets game and they were losing. The Bills game, they were down 7, could have been 10 or 14 by the time he took his first snap. There's been basically every time he's played, they've been losing for, he's had to kind of play from behind, and the play calling is different in those instances. And maybe you do try and force the ball a little bit more, or sometimes, Chase Claypool falls down before after the ball's out of your hand and you're like, well, shit, he's not where he's supposed to be.
Why are we shitting on Chase Claypool? We don't even play here anymore.
I'm just saying that did happen.
I get that, but I'm being a dick, but also not. Like, he's fucking gone. Like, I don't care about Chase Claypool anymore.
Actually, this is a good point that Jennifer just made too. That Kenny Pickett was averaging like 44 pass attempts per game. Yeah. Like, that's not how you bring a rookie quarterback along. And Kenny isn't 15-year vet Ben, right? That
No, he is not.
You can't ask him to throw the ball 44 times and expect him to create magic. Like, you got to pick and choose your situations, and they were able to do that a little bit better this game because they had an effective running game and could move the ball and actually were picking up first downs. The other thing that I wanted to mention was Charlie Batch had a really good point on the postgame show that he said, we can sit up here and analyze this guy was open, that guy was open, all that stuff. We can see what the play design was. What we don't know is what the game plan was of, okay, if they're in this defense, here's the go-to guy. If you get this one-on-one matchup, regardless of what the rest of the defense is, here's your go-to guy, right? And I think the one defensive back for the Saints had 3 or 4 pass interference penalties, or a couple. They kept picking on the one guy.
Yeah,
kind of whoever. Yeah, 27, whoever he was guarding. So that was definitely, the Saints were down 3 of their 4 starting defensive backs. So why not go after, the rookie? But that's the thing that we don't know as fans watching the game is we don't know what the game plan says and where that kind of dictates, where he's in theory supposed to go with the ball.
There have also been instances this season, several times, where receivers didn't realize they were the hot route.
Yeah.
They didn't see a blitz.
Great point.
They didn't see it coming.
Yep.
Had no idea what the deal was. Saw 7 guys line up on the line and went, whatever, I'm running my route.
Right. And he had nobody to throw to in turn.
Yeah.
I
think progress is happening. It's just slow, but it's slow. And I know it's frustrating because we just had a 15-year quarterback who or 17-year quarterback, 18-year quarterback who knew exactly what he was doing and exactly what the defense was going to do and would just call out plays, be like, Juju, run a slant, I'll throw you the ball, and it would work. So I know it's frustrating going back to a rookie because we haven't had a rookie in so long, but it's part of the process.
It is.
To me, I haven't seen any improvement between the Jets game and this game. I've really from Pickett, no.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought he played better. Well, okay. His worst game was versus the Eagles.
Yes.
All right.
I think that was everybody's worst game.
Maybe, but his worst game, Pickett's worst game by far was versus the Eagles. And he played much better this week, I thought. And I think he's a little improved. Scarps, he threw 3 picks versus the Jets in a half.
But none of them were his fault.
Oh, shut up.
God.
Record for the most interceptions that weren't his fault.
Here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line. And I said this to you. Just because you observe about his play or make an observation or do a slight critique, it doesn't mean you hate him or you're not a fan.
What?
I just haven't seen anything from him that wows me.
Ryan's mean.
Okay.
What a hater.
And I know, and I'm going to say, so we talked about it, what his ceiling is or whatever. We had said, Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins. And I know Kirk Cousins has Justin Jefferson, but did you see some of the fucking throws Kirk Cousins was making on Sunday?
Yeah.
That dude was fucking zero fucks. Just fucking don't care. And yeah, it helps when you have a Justin Jefferson, but like that dude is fearless. If Kenny Pickett could get to that level, I can live with that.
Yeah. Well,
but
Kirk Cousins has been in the league for 10 years. He was drafted in 2012. So
okay. If he can get to that level, but Kirk Cousins, I'm not going to sit here and say Kirk Cousins Kirk Cousins to me has never looked as bad as Pickett does right now.
He didn't look great as a rookie or as a second.
He's had some moments, but I get what you're saying.
Struggled.
I get what you're saying.
He struggled a bit in his first contract with Washington.
You're right. I am the biggest Pickett hater on this show. I apologize.
You are. You're just going to have to wear that badge for a while, man. Hey, real quick, we are part of the Pigskin Podcast Network, and as such, make sure you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code TPPN to get $200 in free bets. If your team wins, just place a $5 bet on any football game only at DraftKings Sportsbook using code TPPN. Gamble wisely, people.
Real quick, Cousins sorry, Cousins wasn't the starter in Washington.
Not right out of the gate.
Until 2015.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he made 9 starts before he was the primary starter in 2015. But
I just want to point out how funny
it
it is that Ryan is so tough on Kenny fucking Pickett and defended Mason Rudolph at every opportunity. Now that shit to me is hilarious because Mason sucks and we know it.
Oh, okay. So here I got a question for you. In their first 6 career starts, in their first okay, so in their first 6 career starts, the Steelers had a 4-2 record. The quarterback threw for 9 touchdowns and only had 3 interceptions. And 2 of those wins were against the 5-2 Colts and the 5-3 Rams. Was that Kenneth Shane Pickett?
No, it wasn't. And you know that quarterback later on that season, that quarterback got benched for Duck fucking Hodges. All right.
Did he get benched or did he have the worst game of his career?
He got
hit him in the fucking head with a helmet, and everybody in this town fucking turned on him. But yet Kenny Pickett could walk on fucking water and do whatever he wants. I'm just saying, keep that same energy for everybody.
Here's one other point to be made though, that both of those games you mentioned, the Rams game and the Colts game, Minkah Fitzpatrick had defensive touchdowns in those games. And if Minkah has a defensive touchdown against New England, or no, he didn't play against New England, shit. But, against the Jets or against, if he plays against New England and picks off Mac Jones, maybe it goes a little differently. I'm just saying that.
Tomlin said that Minkah wanted to play on Sunday.
That's right. Keep fucking digging for those Pickett excuses, man. Whatever.
I'm just saying it helps a lot when you get defensive and special teams touchdowns. That's all I'm saying.
Sure. Any quarterback
it does help a lot.
Well, in that Rams game, you do remember the
Mason fucking
first
Rudolph
snap went over Mason's head, and Dante Fowler scored a touchdown.
Mason had a great defense that year. They gave him 5 interceptions in a road game in San Francisco, and he still fucking lost.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did James fucking Conner not fumble in the most critical time of the game? Like, oh my God, that's what I'm saying. You go out of your way to fucking hate Mason. Just go out of their way.
If you finish a game,
Kenny, come here.
If you fumbled it overtime,
you finish the game +3 in the overtime ratio. You should win every time. Bottom line.
Yes.
All right.
We couldn't because Mason couldn't throw a fucking touchdown pass to save his life in the goddamn red zone because he sucks.
He threw a 76-yard touchdown.
Well, anyway,
and then had
while we're screaming about a guy who holds a clipboard and wears his
on?
jockey shorts under his sweats, we're gonna move on. Yes,
all right, I gotta say something. There was a guy sitting behind me at the game. Who, if there was a Saints version of our podcast, he would have been on it because he was definitely a Saints fan. But every time they got the ball, he was like, well, fuck, let's see if we can get a first down here. We can't get a first down to save our lives. And then they got the one drive they got 2. He's like, holy shit, we got 2 first downs. We fucking suck. We're awful. I can't believe we got 2 first downs. Like, he was the most negative visiting fan I've ever heard. It was hilarious.
I'm telling you, Andy Dalton.
Yeah,
Andy fucking Dalton. That guy the Steelers just have his number.
They're terrible.
The Steelers just have Andy Dalton's fucking number. They just do.
Just real quick, Ben, you mentioned, Minkah, he popped up on the injury report with appendicitis. And, look, appendicitis almost always leads to appendix removed. And that ended up being the case, correct?
He had his appendix removed on Saturday.
Yeah.
And on Sunday, he was like, I'm okay. I want to play.
Right.
And it was the Saturday before. It was the Saturday of the bye week, wasn't it?
No.
Yeah, I thought it was the Saturday.
I think it had to have been.
It was Saturday after the walkthrough.
No, there's no way he could have.
I shit you not.
Wow. Well, either case, Tomlin did not rule him out.
Yeah, because they wouldn't have had a walkthrough on the bye week.
Right.
Nope.
No, that's true. Tomlin did not rule him out for Sunday.
This Sunday.
So, right.
I mean, they're going to see. I can't see it. I think that's nuts. I know they do appendectomies arthroscopically now, and apparently it didn't burst because they're not ruling him out for Sunday. But
when Ben had his, he missed 2 weeks, right?
He missed 14 days.
14 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Let me shift gears here a little bit.
I want to say it was Hines that had his and only missed a game.
Boy, him I don't remember.
And his was weird too, because I think, as I recall, he was driving to the charter flight and was really uncomfortable and went inside, and the doctor was like, okay, let's just examine you right here. And he goes, no, you need to go to the hospital now.
Yeah, that's never good.
So that's
never good.
That again, that's Saturday. And he missed a game and played the next week. He didn't practice the next week, but still played.
Right.
But, it's Hines. I mean, do the offense.
I do want to mention on a little bit lighter note here real quick. The Steelers did announce today that Sunday they'll be wearing the Color Rush uniforms. And this
is scheduled.
I believe this is the first day game they will wear them. Is that correct? Or did they wear them for a 4:30 one?
They wore the Ravens game on Christmas that Antonio Brown stretched the ball over the goal line was like a 4:30 game.
Okay, all right. So I know they haven't ever worn them for a 1 o'clock.
But it was a Christmas Day game, so it was special.
Yeah.
So it was special. And then Ian, you said that
since he's wearing their white,
he's going to wear the all whites. Okay, so
did they wear them last year? Did they wear them the COVID year during it for a day game once? Like, was it?
Damn it, I'm on mute.
I want to say they might have worn them. They might have even worn them for that fucking Baltimore game that got pushed like 5 days.
Oh, they might have. You might be right about that. That was like a 5:30 Wednesday game, though, wasn't it?
It was bizarre.
It was fucked.
I thought the first time they wore those Color Rush jerseys was 2017.
Well, I'm not going to belabor the point too much. I
can't remember when they wore them first.
Right. I just I'm still waiting for the Steelers white on whites to happen.
That would be pretty badass.
Man, they were so sweet.
The throwbacks.
Oh, they were so cool back
from the late 60s, early 70s.
Yes, love the white on white.
Those are beautiful.
Yeah,
especially on a grass field.
Oh, the grass
hell
stains,
yeah.
the dirt. Anyway,
that'll be gorgeous.
Ian, what do you attribute the running game success this past week to, after really a full season to that point of being very marginal?
The Saints' run defense sucks balls.
Fair enough. Okay, let's move on. Well, yeah, it's not good. They were banged up. But I don't necessarily think our offensive line is world beaters. So was it Najee being more patient?
He was more patient. He didn't try and force things. And the distribution of labor was very good too. Naj had 20 carries. Jaylen Warren had 9. This was the first time that George Pickens, we saw him get a chance to, kind of run that end around, and he actually showed some things too. And, Steven Sims didn't really do anything on the end arounds, and I don't love the end around plays, but I understand why they do them. It's basically because if you don't, then anytime somebody comes in motion, they're just going to ignore the play. You have to at least show the threat that, maybe we're going to hand it off.
Gotta show it. Yep.
Yeah. So, I think most of it is the Saints are bad. The Saints are really bad. Yeah. And
the Saints defense actually is pretty good, man. Those linebackers are fantastic.
Well,
they just didn't play a good game. They just did not play a good game.
I agree. They're banged up. They didn't have work.
Their
DBs are banged up.
Yeah.
Their linebackers are solid.
They're 22nd in the league in rush defense.
They're pretty bad. Yeah.
Is that yards per game, or is that yards per carry?
Total rushing yards.
Probably yards per game.
Well, I mean, they just gave up 200 yards in rushing, so
yeah, I think they
slid quite a bit after that game. I got a feeling.
No. Even coming into the game, they were giving up more yards per game than the Steelers were.
Oh,
yeah, they were definitely lower middle of the pack.
Well, so let's shift the conversation then. Can they even get a somewhat similar effort this Sunday?
Yeah, you can. I mean, the Bengals aren't world beaters necessarily on defense, and I think part of it is that you have to keep up the commitment to the running game, right? You can't be like, oh, we gave Naj 11 carries and Jalen Warren 4. I don't know why we didn't run for 100 yards when, this game Naj had 20 and Jalen had 9. Like, that's the better distribution of labor that, you gotta do it. And picking up first downs. We talked about this last week, right? That, sustaining drives get you more opportunities, and more opportunities gives you more chances for success, and it just keeps rolling on itself.
Yep. Right. There was a point late in the game where the Steelers had 36 runs, 36 passes. Mm-hmm. And my first thought when I heard that was, okay, I love the balance, but I kept coming back to something we talked a little bit about in the beginning. I would have loved to have seen a lot more runs down in the red zone.
My first thought was, holy shit, we've held the ball for a long fucking time. 72 plays? Right. Oh my God. That's good. That's actually a success. I was really pleased by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was stunned to see the balance, and you're right, the 72 plus plays that we ultimately had. I still remained a bit stunned by that.
And that was the other thing too. In some of these other games, like against Miami and some of the other ones, the second half in those games we were going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. This game we actually sustained some drives in the second half, and even the ones where we didn't score or we missed a field goal, like we were driving like 40, 50, 60 yards a drive. Even if we missed a field goal on it, that was eating some clock up too. And
even if we missed, even when we missed the field goal,
fuck, man, I know, right? We could have.
It was do they still have Nick Skiba on speed dial, right? They
he's on speed dial, but I mean, whether or not he's still in Pittsburgh, I have no idea.
They can't sign him. When you sign someone off of a practice squad, you have to keep them on the roster for 3 weeks.
Yes, but they can still sign. They can sign Skiba.
Right.
They'd have 2 kickers on the roster.
Right.
Right.
But Matt Wright's a minimum salary player anyway. What fucking difference does it make?
That's true. I guess they could cut Matt Wright. They just have to pay him for 2 more weeks, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, his miss was bad. I mean,
it was really
bad.
And he looked bad. He looked bad in warm-ups. I was watching him in warm-ups.
Kickoff.
He looked like fucking me booting the ball, man. that second one, I was like, yeah, I've seen that before.
Like the second kick. I watched it. I was like, that must have been a bad hole. That's an NFL kicker. He couldn't have possibly done that.
No, There's
no way. So you watch the replay, and I'm like, what the fuck? It was perfect.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I mean, at some point, like, let's just be real here. Like, we're all human. Like, at some point, though, like, you have to like shit your pants a little bit being in front of that many people. Like, but that's why Boz is money, man. And like, I know he had that down year, but like those when you got a kicker that that can make kicks, like, and normally I'm critical of Tomlin when he sends poor Boz out there, but like I actually give Tomlin credit for being like, make the fucking kick, dude. Like, go out there, let's see what you got, because like whatever you do on the south side is not the same as what you do at stadiums, and
he has performance anxiety.
I
think he was just nervous.
I tweeted through my whiskey haze on Sunday. The Steelers better learn their lessons. They should have learned their lesson after Josh Scobie about kickers tainted by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just never, ever sign another one. Ever. Like, just stay away from those guys, because it was giving me Josh Scobie flashbacks. It was
oh, for sure.
That bad.
No, Scobie had the leg to get it there. It wasn't that bad.
Is Doug Flutie still the last guy to successfully make a drop kick?
Pretty sure, yeah.
I think he is. Derek Watley is the backup.
Still dad. To get back to your point.
Yeah.
Running for 200 yards a game is the anomaly, right? They haven't done it since 2016. But here's the whole point, and this is we're not asking for 200 yards a game every game. We're just asking for efficiency. If it's 98 yards, but you picked up key first downs,
Agreed.
You averaged 4.4 a pop, and one, I don't give a shit.
It's situational football.
Absolutely.
And
it's winning on first and second down. Yes. Whatever that looks like, however you get it done.
And this is a division game against an opponent that you let's be real, they were very fortunate in week 1, even though their defense played out of their minds. So this is a division opponent that's looking for revenge, and they've beaten the Steelers. They beat the Steelers last year.
Twice last year.
Well, at Acrisure, yes, or at
now
Acrisure, it was actually Heinz, but no, but
it was Heinz Field, and
they just need, honestly, this needs
Jamar Chase is not playing.
Right?
Are we sure?
Yes,
and
that is huge. Jamar Chase.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be frank. Jamar Chase is their offense. If you don't have to account for that guy, there's a whole
that is so disrespectful.
Whatever.
T. Higgins
Tyler
is Boyd, and Joe Mixon.
T. Higgins is good. He's not Hall of Fame talent good.
T. Higgins is better than any receiver we have.
Okay, that's
Tyler
fair.
Boyd might be too.
Well, I don't know if Higgins is better than Deontay when Deontay has his shit together. Not saying that he does, but when he does, he's very good.
Are you? Oh my God!
T. Higgins.
You know what? I'm not going to get invited back to the show, man. I'm
yeah, you are
hot tonight.
T. Higgins is good. He's good. I don't think he's better.
Higgins has good long speed. You know, my knock on him.
Pickens is talented, but he's not T. Higgins good yet. T. Higgins is a better receiver at this point.
Yeah. I mean, Higgins isn't a real sharp route runner. My knock on Higgins coming out in the draft was that I didn't think he was willing to go across the middle and take big hits. I thought he was soft.
Yeah.
He's proven me wrong on that
Yes, he has.
a bit. I mean, he's definitely willing to go over the middle and make contested catches. He's a quality receiver.
Higgins runs three routes, but he runs them really fucking well.
Yeah. The difference is, you know, Higgins can take the top off the coverage. You can hit him on a deep ball.
Oh yeah.
But Higgins doesn't have the speed to turn an out route into a 60-yard touchdown like Jamar Chase did in Kansas City last year, right?
Jennifer just reminded the Bengals are coming off a bye.
Yeah. That Chase, anytime he catches the ball, has the ability to score, right? I don't think Boyd or Higgins
Jamar Chase
have that ability.
Scary.
Yeah.
It's about what he does.
Scary.
But to the way that you have to roll your coverages and you have to just play defense in general. Now you don't have to do that.
Now you don't have to do it.
Makes a big difference.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you don't put your best corner on T. Higgins. You do. But you put a corner on him. You don't put a corner and Minka and maybe think about jamming into the line too. You don't do all of that. Jamar Chase is fucking scary good. T. Higgins is just good.
Yeah. Look, when we've been successful against Joe Burrow, it's been getting at his feet, up the middle.
Yeah.
Just getting at those legs, getting at those feet. And I think that's going to be key this week, is that ability to do that, obviously with Watt coming back. We saw what impact he has, not only his own impact, but the impact that other guys around him feel, because they don't get doubled and stuff. So, I think that's going to be huge. But yeah, you're right. With no Jamar Chase, it allows Terrell Austin to do some different things that he otherwise wouldn't be able to do. If Minka is back, what does that 3 safety look that Austin is bound to use? What's that going to look like?
Going to be fun.
Well, I think people get an image in their head and they just kind of see, an umbrella. I don't think that's what it's going to be.
No. You put KZ at free safety.
Yeah.
You have Terrell Edmonds sitting in the box, being Terrell Edmonds.
Yep.
And you let Minka kind of go, well, I'm going to freelance a little bit.
Yeah.
And you let him be a playmaker the way they used to let Troy be a playmaker.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what happens, and Bill makes a good point here. Maybe that means less Spillane and Bobby. I love you, man. You work your tail off, but I just can't see as much as I do right now.
Yeah, this past week with Miles Jack out, they basically had on third downs in the dime package. It was KZ and Norwood at safety, and then Edmonds came up into the box as kind of the second linebacker. So, you know, and there could be some of that too, that Edmonds kind of plays that in the box role. They had Edmonds spying Taysom Hill a little bit when Hill was in the game. And they did a really good job against Alvin Kamara too. You know, that was really the guy who the Saints offense ran through was Kamara. And, you know, they did a good job. Although, you know, why the Saints kept trying to throw the ball instead of just handing it off to Kamara was astounding.
I didn't understand why New Orleans wasn't trying to get Kamara a little more just over the middle, just dump over the middle like so many other teams do to us.
I mean, didn't you expect that?
What's that? I thought we'd see a little more of that. But
the difference between Sean Payton and Dennis Allen is huge. Dennis Allen should not be a head coach in this league.
Man, when he walked off at the end of that game, he looked like a guy that was like, oh, there was a game today. Did we lose? I mean, he looked so nonchalant about it. It's crazy.
I mean,
I don't think that Dennis Allen's fingerprints are on that offense at all. I think that he's a defensive coach. He's a defensive play caller.
Right.
He's the head coach, but I don't think that I don't know. Anyway,
you might be right, but that point, hey, Sean Payton is that offensive coach.
Yeah,
you can
exactly. If Sean
see.
Payton had been coaching that game on Sunday, and it was a 10-10 tie at halftime, he would have come out running the ball.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
Yep.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the way that Canada addressed the first time running the offense without Claypool? It looks like he did a lot of different things. I mean, we saw Gunner early, we saw Sims, we saw obviously multiple tight ends, saw a little bit more Connor Hayward.
Connor Hayward got a lot of snaps.
Yeah, is that going to be the MO going forward? I mean, or do you think they're trying to find somebody there? I don't know what to make of it just yet. I mean, it's just one game.
I don't think I'd rather have a distribution of labor where you use more guys rather than one guy. I mean, we've talked about this a lot on the show that, you know, Claypool was miscast in the slot. They had three outside receivers and we're trying to get them all on the field at the same time. Two tight end sets are better than trying to force Claypool into the slot. You're also better off with, you know, even Steven Sims in the slot rather than Claypool. It gives you more options. That ball, the ball that Pickett threw to Najee on the wheel route in the end zone that went through Najee's hands was a fantastic throw. Don't get me wrong. It was a really good throw and it hit Najee in the hands. But Sims was wide fucking open at the 2-yard line. He was coming across the field on a crossing route, and he was wide open. And I was sitting there in the stands. I was like, throw it to 82. And he went for he threw a good ball. Don't get me wrong. But that's one of those things where, you know, Sims can run more routes out of the slot than Claypool could. He can't run the go route out of the slot, but we don't throw it over the middle of the field anyways. So, you know, it doesn't really matter.
I want to say that Claypool was misused of the slot.
He was miscast.
No. You're going to say he's miscast, but that's if you're using it, if you're going to use him like a traditional slot, which they tried to do. It didn't work. If they had just said, okay, we're going to put him in the slot, but we're going to play the slot to his strengths. We're gonna do it for Chase Claypool rather than trying to run Matt Canada's fucking offense.
Here's a team that doesn't run a sluggo.
It might have fucking worked. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know how.
But what does that mean for Chase Claypool then? What type of slot receiver fits?
There are big slots all over the fucking league.
Oh no, I know there are. But how do you utilize them? What routes do you use for him that you wouldn't use for, let's say, a Steven Sims or Gunnar Olszewski?
Slot go.
Post. I run some deep slants.
Yeah.
Yes, Ryan.
I mean, it's not all Canada's fault, but I saw the same shit that I've seen every week, and I just think that they executed better in situations.
They did.
A fucking George Pickens touchdown on a fucking jet sweep. I mean, why did he just, throw the ball to Derek Watt? I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's the same shit. Like, and again, it's not all Canada's fault, but like you're right, Ben. The Saints defense isn't terrible, but like that team wanted nothing to do with
their
game.
DBs were pretty bad.
But
they were, man.
But, like, this is a division game, and
we had Andy Dalton. Let's not discount the Andy
That's
Dalton
what I mean.
factor.
Like we, I don't want to.
Joe Burrow is not Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
All right. No, he's not. He ain't.
And
I wish he were. I wish to God
absolutely
he were Andy Dalton. That would be awesome, but he's not.
Don't forget also the Bengals are 0-3 in the AFC North.
Really?
This isn't just a big game in terms of. I mean, they have to win this game.
This is a huge opportunity for them, and then but also a huge opportunity for the Steelers.
Yep.
I'm not saying playoffs. I'm not going to say that, but I'm saying that like it's just one game at a time.
Right.
Start stacking wins. But getting back to the point is that Cincinnati's defense is playing much better. They've already seen the Steelers once.
Mm-hmm.
I know they haven't seen Kenny Pickett yet, but that being said, they've seen Matt Canada's offense.
And they know us. They know our men. They know our personnel.
They're familiar. So don't be surprised if a Gunnar Olszewski sweep goes for -3 to 4.
God, please
early on.
Fucking jet sweeps. Jesus, so frustrating to watch.
So first, let me just give the quick warning to Mr. Casey Kasem to get him up in the bullpen. But in any case, we've got picks to do for this weekend's game, and
which we barely talked about at all. Yeah.
Well, look, it is what it is. Ian, what do you got for this weekend?
Oh shit, I've been terrible this year at making picks.
Oh, it's been hard.
Although actually, I said 20 to 16 this past week, and the Steelers did get to 20.
Yeah.
The Saints did not get to 16. And actually, the Steelers
20
could have
17, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you swore at me when I said 20 to 16.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And honestly, the Steelers could have had like 26 points because we missed 2 field goals.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, there was another one where we were in field goal range and Pickett got sacked. So it could have almost we could have almost got to
29.
Could have been 29.
Holy shit!
I know.
Fuck.
I mean, we won the game. Although, last week we did tell everyone on the show to bet the under, and the over-under, I think it was 41 when we recorded, and it went down to 38 or something like kickoff. And so I don't know what the line is this week on the game.
I haven't looked at it yet.
Neither have I.
Yeah, well,
I'm pretty sure we're dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6.5. Cincinnati's favored by 6.5. The over/under's at 44.5. So, all right, yeah,
a lot of points for a home dog.
Yeah, it is.
So, what do you got? What's your prediction?
Right. My prediction, since I've been so terrible this year, I'm gonna pick the Bungholes to win, and hope that I'm wrong again. So,
Holios.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bengals 24, Steelers 16.
Okay. All right. Scarps.
I like when Ben swears at me when I make my predictions.
Yeah, I mean this is a tough one because it is a division game, and a couple weeks ago the Bengals got their asses kicked by the Browns, and I did not see that one coming.
Right, that was great.
But I think Cincinnati is a much better football team than the Steelers, and they're in a revenge spot. I think they got a lot to prove, and you're right. Jamar Chase is not there, but this is not the same Bengals as they used to be with Carson Palmer and Andy Dalton. I'm gonna go Bengals 27-20.
Whoa, another 20-point outing for the Steelers.
I think 20 is their ceiling. I really unless they get a defensive touchdown.
Right.
I think 20 is what they need.
All right. By the way, weather report, Pittsburgh Sunday, 30 degrees, winds of 15 miles an hour.
Oh, good times.
Yes. Yeah. Ben, your prediction.
I'll be at the game, so that'll be fun.
There you go.
Well, bundle up.
Bundle up. Bungle up.
I like it a lot better when you guys drink and you call them the Bengals.
Bengals.
Really much better. I have, again, this weird feeling the Steelers are going to pull something out of their ass.
Oh, boy.
And, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be impressive. We're not going to be like, yeah, they're actually fucking good. But I think they could win this week. And I don't know, maybe it'll be a fluky kind of a win where, they're like weird turnovers or I don't know.
Defensive
I don't
touchdown,
know.
Special
Defensive
teams
touchdown, special teams touchdown, maybe something like that. I'm going to go Steelers 21 to
3 touchdowns. We haven't scored 3 touchdowns in a game all year.
No. Might be.
It could be 7 field goals.
We had a
defensive
score.
We had
a defensive score week
that means
1.
There'd be 6 misses.
21 and the Bengals 17.
All right. I'm gonna make it simple. I got Cincinnati 23, Pittsburgh 20 in a classic AFC North game. I think this one will change hands a few times.
You guys all picked 20 points.
Yep. I think it's just
16.
our number.
Oh, you want 16?
Yeah.
I said
our number.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another installment of America's Top 40, featuring the late, great, ghostly form of Mr. Casey Kasem as he takes a long-distance dedication from a forlorn soul in Pittsburgh.
America Top 40. It's time for a week of November 15th, 1972. 50 years ago, to be exact. Ryan from Pittsburgh writes, Dear Casey, what a heroic, monumental, triumphant victory last Sunday for the Steelers. It's as if they defeated the 72 Dolphins and 85 Bears simultaneously. I got 2 words for you, Casey, and this time it isn't Canada sucks. Those 2 words I have for you are Super Bowl. There's simply no other way to look at the Steelers' victory other than it's going to propel them to their 7th Lombardi.
Holy shit.
Everything is fine. It's sunshine, rainbows, clear skies, puppy breath, unicorn farts, Johnny Walker Blue, and cocaine lollipops.
Johnny Walker Blue? Really?
And cocaine lollipops, Casey. This team has no flaws. It's absolutely perfect. Vincent Van Gogh told me that his biggest regret was painting Starry Night instead of painting the 2022 Pittsburgh Steelers. John Lennon told me that he would have given up every Beatles song he ever wrote if he could have written a song as good as Renegade, since it's the Steelers anthem. Thomas Edison told me he would have rather invented the pre-snap motion into a jet sweep than the light bulb, phonograph, and camera. What I'm trying to say, Casey, is that even Yahweh is jealous of the Steelers' omnipotence.
Oh,
Yahweh.
Wow.
I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. That's, of course, the lyrics to Amazing Grace, written by none other than the Chief, Art Rudy Sr. Amen. Back to the task at hand here. I don't know what took me so long, Casey, but I can see clearly now. Well, Ryan, it sounds like you've been huffing airplane model glue, but nonetheless, you've turned the corner and you're on the right track. We got a real treat for you. At number 1 for the 3rd consecutive week on American Top 40, here's I Can See Clearly Now by Johnny Nash.
Wow.
I literally wrote that 5 minutes before I got on here.
Wow.
I've been changing my floors in my basement and had all these ideas in my head, and that just came out.
Starry Night
Wow.
and rather the Pittsburgh Steelers 2022. That's great. That's good stuff, man. What there was a point in there I wanted to go back and reference, but I've completely lost my shit.
That the Chief wrote Amazing Grace. Think about that. I mean
yeah,
wow.
That's I know what I want to say. Ian, Renegade can we give Renegade credit for the W this week?
We did get the DeMonte Casey interception after Renegade, so it did happen.
Right.
Yeah. That said, they played Renegade before the kickoff, and then we kicked off, and then we took a defensive timeout, and it was like, what's going? Like, I don't know. The mojo was weird in the stadium after that.
Agreed.
But it was on the Renegade drive. We got, we did get a turnover, so it worked. Yeah.
It's just, it seems to me they've picked some unusual times, but when you got a team that's unusual, I guess it only fits. So
yeah.
All right, we're gonna get on out of here. Thanks everybody who jumped on tonight and enjoyed this hour plus with us, and thanks all the listeners out there, whether you're viewing the YouTube or just listening on your favorite podcast platform or whatever. We really do appreciate it. Always chime in. We love to talk to you. And as always, have a great week. Enjoy the Steelers game on Sunday. So for these guys, this is Steel Dad signing off on the SCB Steelers Podcast, presented by DEK Roofing Incorporated of South Florida. And hey, go Steelers.
Ravens suck.